Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to another patch rundown. Today we're talking about the patch releasing October 26th, so let's just jump right into it. There's quite a few changes that we're going to be talking about today. First of which is they're removing 2 units and also adding 2 new units. They're removing either Phantom Queen or Abyssal Guard. I've heard both, but I think I'm leaning towards Abyssal Guard right now, and Shadow Devil being removed. The 2 new units are both wizard units, so this is a new class. The first unit is called Grand Herald, he's a divinity wizard, and the second unit is called Grimstroke, who is a demon wizard. They're also changing some race and class bonuses. The Marine 2 synergy is being buffed from 30% magic resistance to 35% magic resistance. The Knight 4 synergy bonus is being nerfed from 48% chance of shielding to 45% chance of shielding. And the Assassin 6 synergy bonus is being buffed from 28% chance of crit to 30% crit chance. Lastly, there's an item balance change for Oblivion Staff being nerfed from 50% chance of penetration to 35% chance of penetration. So first off, I've heard both about Phantom Queen as well as Abyssal Guard being removed from the game. On the official notes that they've released so far, they say Phantom Queen and Shadow Devil, but the problem is they also have the 9 Assassin class bonus out right now, which shouldn't be possible. The addition of wizards, which I'll go into the future, would allow the 9 Assassin threshold to be met if Phantom Queen was still in the game. And they've made a point to make sure that only usable synergies are in the game currently. That's why things like the 4 Cave Clan was removed when Axe Hunter was removed. So them keeping the 9 Assassin in and making a point to keep the 9 Assassins in makes me think that they're actually removing Abyssal Guard, which is the other unit that they were also thinking about removing. And I'm pretty sure Shadow Devil was guaranteed to be removed because they want to be removing the same cost units as the units that they're adding in. So Grand Herald is a 2 cost unit, which is why he's replacing either Phantom Queen or Abyssal Guard, and Grimstroke is a 3 cost unit, which is why he's replacing Shadow Devil, from what I believe. Next, I'll talk about the Wizard class. So the way the Wizard synergy works is it requires both Wizard units, I believe, and it decreases the required pieces of 4+ synergies by 1. So this means that if you're running 4 Glacier, you can run both Wizards and only need 3 Glacier units, or you can run 5 Goblin units and the 2 wizards instead. I believe this works for all synergies that require 4 or more pieces, so you can run something like Goblin Mech and only need 3 mechs and 5 goblins, or you can run Knights Glacier and only need 3 Glacier and 3 Knights, something like that. That's only what I believe is happening, because I'm not actually sure the exact details of it since it hasn't been released yet. So the 2 cost unit Grand Herald, the Divinity Wizard, first of all, it's important to note that they're probably changing the way the Divinity synergy is working, because right now, if the second Divinity unit gave 75% cooldown reduction to the skills, that would be way too broken. So I think what they're doing right now is they're changing it from a 1-2 synergy to a 1-2-3 synergy, going 40%, 60%, 80%, or something along that line. From what I've heard, the Grand Herald's skill is to steal a random opponent's skill at the beginning of each round, but I've also heard that it is a passive that reduces the cooldowns by 10%, so I'm not sure which one, but I think I'm leaning towards stealing the random opponent's skill. Next is Grimstroke is a demon wizard, so important to note that you can't really run the wizard synergy as well as the divinity synergy unless you're running double demon, which is suboptimal. Its skill is to send a wide straight line damaging AoE shot that supposedly deals more damage the further it travels. This is very similar to something like Wind Ranger, except it deals more damage. The Marine synergy is probably the largest balance change between the actual race and class balance changes, because a 5% increase of the magic resistance is quite large compared to the other changes. If Abyssal Guard is being removed, then this change isn't as big because you'll need to run Siren and Abyssal Crawler, which is kind of really bad. But if Abyssal Guard isn't being removed, then this buff is quite big. The Marine buff is really important right now because of how strong 6 Mage is, so the only times you're really going to be seeing 6 Mage struggling is against either Knights or Hunters that are running the Marine buff, potentially even the 4 Marine buff. This 2 Marine buff just makes any composition running Marine a lot stronger in the mid game versus those mages. It's important to note that the Hunters always ran Siren and usually ran Abyssal Guard if they wanted to run the 2 Marine bonus. But if Abyssal Guard is being removed, then they'll probably just run Doom Arbiter and pray for the Tsunami Stalker in the late game in order to get the 2 Marine bonus. So this could actually be a decent buff to mages because Marine was one of its 2 strongest counters. Next thing is that the Knight synergy is actually being nerfed a little bit, from 48% chance of shielding to 45% chance of shielding. And this is the other largest counter to the 6 mage build that's out right now. Usually 6 Knights does a lot better against the 6 mage than 4 Knights does, but Knights are still one of the biggest counters, or one of the best counters for 6 mage. Knights are also a really strong class, so this nerf is quite justified. Honestly, this nerf is kind of small. It's comparable to the feathered synergy nerf from last patch, where it went from 35% chance of evasion to 30% chance of evasion. That change nerfed it a little bit, but honestly, the feathered teams didn't feel that much weaker than they originally were. So a change that's even smaller, a 3% change for Knights bonus, I doubt will have very much of an effect, and you can probably expect Knights to remain approximately as strong as they were before. Lastly, the Assassin's buff is only a 2% chance of crit, so that means 1 in 50 auto attacks are gonna crit. So honestly, this change is pretty much non-existent. It's important to note that with Knights being slightly weaker and mages probably being a little bit better, Assassins will probably end up getting an overall buff from this patch, but it won't be from this 2% crit, it'll be because of the meta changes. Lastly, the Oblivion Staff. I never really noticed the Oblivion Staff that much, so I'm actually surprised it's getting a nerf. It's not very notable unless you're running against a lot of Feathered players or a lot of Knights players, because I think that's how it worked. Lastly, I'll jump really quick into the strongest builds after this patch because I'm not really sure how it's gonna work, because I think the new wizard class might open a lot of new doors to new really weird compositions like 9 assassins or something. So we don't really know how many different builds are gonna be popping up after this patch, but I will be working with the builds that I think are strong right now. First off, I still think 6 mage is gonna be the best build. They didn't really hit 6 mage at all. The only thing they really did was buff assassins a little bit and buff Marine a little bit, but the potential removal of Abyssal Guard could make the Marine buff actually end up overall being nerfed. Next, I'm putting Hunter Warrior. I really like Hunter Warrior. I've been playing a lot of Hunter Warrior lately, especially on my Smurf, which isn't really representative, but whatever. It's really strong, it does really good against mages, and it does really good against knights, and it does okay against assassins, and it does good against feathered. It just does really bad against Beast Warrior and does really bad against Goblin Mech. There's a chance that they'll actually be really bad after this patch because they could get stomped by Goblin Mech every single game because of the Wizards bonus, but since I'm not sure about how the Wizards bonus is going to be affecting the meta, I'm still going to keep them at second place. Next, Glacier Knights. I don't really see Glacier Knights being affected all too much by the Knights nerf. It's really a very small nerf, and Glacier Knights is so strong and so consistent, and a lot of the times they're hitting 6 Knights in the ends game anyways, and it doesn't look like the 6 Knight synergy is being touched at all. Now, I'm putting Assassins slightly above Feathered Hunter because Assassins are getting buffed, and the meta seems to be favoring Assassins a little bit more than they're favoring Feathered, because Feathered doesn't do so good against Hunters and also doesn't do so good against Mages. Lastly, I'm putting Beast Warrior and Divinity Mage a little bit lower. Divinity Mage might get a little bit better because of the new Divinity unit, so we'll have to see, but Divinity Mage relies a lot on 4-cost units where they're really expensive. We'll see if it can survive until God of Thunder, which is the most important piece either way. Beast Warriors aren't that bad. They have decent matchups, especially against Hunters and Assassins. It's just that they don't have a great matchup against 6 Mage, and they don't have a great matchup against Glacier Knights, and they have a really bad matchup against Feathered. Because of that, I can't really put Beast Warrior that high. It's not because the build is bad, it's more that the meta is not so favored for Beast Warrior. But there you have it, that's all I wanted to talk about today. I'm a little sick, so I didn't want to make this video too long. Thanks for watching. New video coming out soon, hopefully for how to auto chess. But anyways, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.